The Tinnitus Book. If you've ever felt trapped by that relentless ringing, humming, or buzzing in your ears, you are not alone. For millions of people, tinnitus isn't just a minor annoyance. It's a daily struggle that can disrupt sleep, shatter concentration, and weigh heavily on your quality of life. But here is the most important thing you need to hear. You don't have to stay trapped. While tinnitus can feel overwhelming, there is real, science-based hope in understanding what's happening and discovering practical tools to manage it. That's exactly what this guide is here to offer. We'll walk through the core knowledge and strategies that can help you feel calmer and more in control. This isn't about miracle cures or empty promises. It's about empowering yourself with the right information and techniques to fundamentally shift your relationship with tinnitus so that you can begin to live fully again. Let's start things off by exploring a few stories. Imagine waking up one morning to a sound that no one else can hear, a persistent hum that follows you everywhere. That's exactly what happened to Elizabeth, a hard-working 32-year-old single mom. One morning, she noticed a strange noise. She checked around the house, looked outside, and even unplugged appliances, but the sound didn't stop. That's when the realization hit her: the sound was coming from inside her own head. Seeking answers, Elizabeth wisely avoided dubious online claims and made an appointment with a doctor. But instead of a solution, she was told what many people with tinnitus hear: there's no cure, and she would need to learn to live with it. It was a heavy blow, but fortunately, Elizabeth kept searching and eventually met an audiologist who explained that there were indeed tools to help her manage the intrusive sound. He introduced her to sound therapy, showing her how different background noises could provide relief. He also recommended seeing a psychologist to help shift how she felt about the sound. Through those therapy sessions, Elizabeth learned valuable techniques. The sound never fully disappeared, but over time, it became a background noise rather than an overwhelming burden that controlled her emotions. Then there's Robert, who struggled with both hearing loss and tinnitus. He started using hearing aids, which his audiologist specially adjusted to add a gentle, constant sound, a masker, that made the ringing less noticeable and even soothing. Inspired by this victory, he also started using a bedside sound machine to help him sleep. Gradually, tinnitus became less of a constant intrusion, and he was able to reclaim peace in his daily routine. These stories highlight a crucial point: there is no universal treatment for tinnitus. How disruptive it is varies from person to person, which means the right management plan will vary as well. The most important first step is to find a qualified clinician, such as an audiologist who truly understands tinnitus care, to guide you with clear, evidence-based support. So, what exactly is tinnitus? The simplest definition is a sound that shouldn't be there, but is. It comes from inside the head, and while it's commonly tied to hearing loss and noise exposure, its causes can be complex. Most cases are primary tinnitus, meaning the sound is a perception generated by the brain with no external source. Almost everyone has experienced brief ear noise, that sudden, high-pitched tone that pops up and fades within a minute. That's totally normal. If it lasts longer after a loud event, like a concert, that's your body waving a red flag that your ears need a break. But when does it become a condition? If you hear a phantom sound for at least 5 minutes, but it happens less than once a week, that's considered occasional. Once it crosses over into happening at least weekly, it officially becomes intermittent tinnitus. Constant tinnitus, on the other hand, is there all the time, even in a quiet room. A good test is to ask yourself, can I always hear it in silence? If yes, that's constant. Many people think their tinnitus is intermittent when it's actually constant, but simply hidden or masked during a noisy day. Driving with the stereo on, for example, is a reliable form of masking. But when you get into bed at night and the ambient masking is gone, the tinnitus can feel much louder. Tinnitus can also fluctuate in loudness, pitch, and quality. It might sound like a cricket, a steady hum, or a chaotic mix of sounds. For some people, certain triggers like stress or even specific foods can make it seem louder. The key takeaway is that while the definition is simple, the experience is incredibly varied. One thing is certain, however: Protecting your hearing from loud environments is critical to prevent it from getting worse. Which treatment is best for you will depend on how affected you are. Let's look at a few more examples. Norman, a 68-year-old Army veteran, had lived with tinnitus for years. But things took a turn when he used a chainsaw without enough ear protection. That single day of loud noise made his tinnitus dramatically louder, to the point that it wrecked his sleep for over a year and drained his energy. Then there's Mary, 37, who got tinnitus from a head injury. She became caught in an exhausting loop. She worried about it getting louder, which made her focus on it more, which made her more anxious, which in turn made her focus on it even more. It's a vicious spiral that took over her ability to live normally. And we have Raquel, 44, a violinist who developed tinnitus after years of playing in an orchestra. It didn't affect her sleep, but it interfered with her concentration, especially when reading or practicing. As you can see, for some, the condition is deeply disruptive, causing anxiety and depression. For others, it's present but manageable. This distinction is so important that there's an official term for it: bothersome tinnitus. This means it's affecting your quality of life and causing significant distress. If you're not feeling that distress, it's considered non-bothersome. How much it bothers someone depends on a mix of factors. If your tinnitus is tied to a traumatic event, it can be more distressing. Personality also plays a role. People who already struggle with anxiety may find it harder to cope. But you are not powerless. Lifestyle factors like healthy sleep, exercise, managing stress, and staying socially active can significantly reduce how much tinnitus bothers you. Enriching your environment with comfortable, low-level sounds can also help train your brain to tune it out. So, what actually happens when you seek medical help, and what steps can you take to manage tinnitus effectively? The journey usually starts with a professional evaluation. The goal is to assess the severity of your case, check for other issues, and establish a baseline to track your progress. Since about 90% of people with tinnitus also have hearing loss, getting your hearing checked by an audiologist is a crucial first step. When it comes to treatment, the ultimate goal is to help you reach a state of habituation. This is the most important concept to grasp. Habituation doesn't mean the sound disappears. It means your brain learns to reclassify it as an unimportant, neutral signal. It learns to tune out the sound of tinnitus so it no longer triggers stress, disrupts sleep, or causes constant frustration. There are several research-backed treatment methods designed to help you achieve this. The first is a treatment you've probably heard of: cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. CBT is all about changing the way you think about tinnitus so you can change how you feel about it. It involves learning relaxation exercises to manage stress, getting back into activities you enjoy to shift your focus away from the ringing, and enriching your sound environment to soften the noise. You'll also work on tackling negative, catastrophic thoughts about tinnitus and replacing them with more constructive ones, which leads to a real shift in your day-to-day experience. Next is tinnitus retraining therapy, TRT. TRT's main goal is for you to be barely aware of your tinnitus, letting it fade into the background. It uses a dual approach: structured counseling based on how the brain processes sound, combined with sound therapy. TRT often uses wearable sound generators or hearing aids with built-in sound features to help mask the tinnitus. You're also encouraged to keep a low-level, comfortable background sound going at all times, even while you sleep, to constantly train your brain to ignore the tinnitus signal. The third method is tinnitus activities treatment, TAT. TAT is a holistic approach that uses counseling and coping strategies, with optional sound therapy. It helps you build a positive outlook, teaches you how to reframe tinnitus as an unimportant sound, and encourages you to stay engaged in hobbies that shift your attention away from it. Patients sometimes use a tinnitus diary to track how they respond to sounds and situations, which can guide adjustments to your environment to reduce the tinnitus's prominence. Finally, there's progressive tinnitus management, PTM. PTM is known as a stepped care approach, which the author helped develop. Stepped care means you progress through different levels of treatment based on your personal needs. You start with basic education and self-help, and only move to higher levels of professional care if they're needed. This ensures you get exactly the level of support you require without overcomplicating things. The main takeaway from the Tinnitus book by James A. Henry is this: while tinnitus can have a real impact on your daily life, it does not have to control it. There may not be a universal cure, but there are proven, structured ways to manage tinnitus and reclaim your sense of normalcy. The key lies in moving from a place of passive suffering to active management. This involves understanding what tinnitus is, what causes it, and how it affects your thoughts, emotions, and focus. From there, you can work with a professional to find the right treatment that suits your needs. Whether it's CBT, TRT, TAT, or PTM, these primary treatments are all designed to get you to a place of habituation, where your brain learns to file the sound away as unimportant. Success with tinnitus management often comes down to two things: a knowledgeable clinician to guide you, and your own commitment to following through, learning, and experimenting to find what helps you personally. It is a clear path toward tuning out the noise and taking back control of your life.